Questions? No questions?
Very nice presentation, thank you, and lots of really good activities. I think you demonstrated why there should be no age limit for attending the workshops, particularly the one for authorship really. So old age professors should clearly be ones who are mandated to attend these workshops. One question I have. The one question I had was looking at some of your statistics. You had some where you didn't have an enormous change between correct and incorrect. Did you take any message from that for how you might change things or do things differently?
Questions are okay. Pre and post assessment was divided into MCQ. So MCQ, right or false. For the essay questions, the person who writes the right answer take his score. Who did it wrong or didn't answer have no grade for this question. So that I have it.
I think I wasn't clear in how I expressed myself. I'm sorry. Is there a message for you from some of these? Would you change how you teach it next time?
Okay. My message was that pre and post assessment was not good enough. Because I could put special questions for each session or each theme. My pre and post assessment, unfortunately, was generally about misconduct, how they know or don't know, how to prevent, how to detect, was general. So, sorry.
First, a comment. Great presentation. The comment is that I really like the discussion that you had on training and mentor. And the comment I wanted to make is that one of the things that we often forget is to have that discussion with our trainees about what they need to do to be a good trainee. We tend to overly talk about the kinds of things that mentors need to do, learn, but we also have to start plowing the ground to ensure that those people that we are trying to train are also receptive to the message that we send, and that's just a comment generally. And then lastly, one of the things that those of us in the field talk about is in terms of pre-assessment and post-assessment, to not use the term of what is correct what is wrong, but in terms of what is the preferred answer. Because sometimes on the pre-assessment, we have attitudinal questions. So it's not a question of what's the correct attitude, but what is the preferred attitude. And those are just general comments. A great presentation.
Can you explain a little bit, you said that you wanted responsible conduct of research, or it was on the slide, not you or the participants, I'm not sure, in the work plan of the Ethics Committee of the NRC. What exactly do you mean by that? Use this.
I meant that this workshop or type of sessions or training workshop to be scheduled during the meeting of the committee. They usually meet to discuss research misconduct occur at NRC, number of PhD or master dissertations that follow this ethics or not. I think it is like official committee no awareness workshop are done by them. So I talked to Dr. Wafa and other doctor at this committee to include this workshop to announce. They also helped me to announce about this workshop. As they know that most researchers at NRC have no idea about, they hear about, but they have no actual idea about it or how to deal with it. So I suggested that this workshop done under their supervision.
Okay.
I mean.
Thank you.
Lily? الميكروفون ولا على الانجليزي او لا الانجليزي؟
Thank you, Rehab, for this great workshop. And my question is, we measure our success in delivering our objectives by how much change that you achieve with the participants. And my question is that, in your perspective, like in your perception, how much do you think by using these teaching techniques and defining all the objectives that you have, how much change that you have accomplished with the participants?
First comment, due to I was pregnant in my third trimester, so I arranged for this workshop in about actually 2 weeks. So I was working as a doctor, I can't move at all. So I rapidly arranged for this workshop. So I know that my assessment wasn't so good. I was in hurry, but as I told Dr. Lester, I will work on I will improve my assessment next time. But I took feedback from the attendants. They were happy for attending such a workshop. They want to be announced about this kind of workshop. Sorry, I forgot your question.
My question. أخبار الحركة شوي بس. My question is that. My question was that how much do you think the participants were influenced by the topic of your workshop, and how much changed? I mean, like you taught them about the authorship, the plagiarism, and other types of misconduct of research. My question is, to how extent do you think that they have changed and they are going to implement this ethics or the right way of conducting research in their own lives?
I think they feel better about this topic. As I said before, they want to attend such a workshop. They asked to do more workshops like this.
It's not actually a question. I'm just curious about research centers, not universities, because maybe in the research centers, maybe in the universities, we are more involved in teaching. So I'm just curious about, do you think like most of the participants and most of the are actually know about this kind of pedagogy, like the active learning and passive learning? Do you think it's different from people in the universities? This is actually like for Dr. Rehab and Dr. Bassam. Did you find any difference? They have previous experience in teaching or like this kind of pedagogy, either the passive learning or the active learning techniques? Because we might think like, maybe in the research centers, maybe they didn't face this kind of teaching before.
Not all researchers at NRC know about active learning. A few of them, through attending a workshop arranged by DAT or something like that. But they have no idea about active learning, so at the opening session, I gave them an idea that this workshop will not an ordinary workshop. It will be through active learning and the interaction between presenters and the attendant. About research misconduct, there are two topics mainly. They were concerned about it, plagiarism and authorship. Those are the most topics they are concerned about. And the plagiarism is, as there are rules nowadays to govern their promotion or PhD or and so on.
Only I want to reply to Dr. Hadidi. My presentation is next to Dr. Rehab. I already did the presentation in Mosul University and I did it for University and Research Center. Okay, but to my opinion, I didn't find any difference in active learning between here and here. Because
although that I think my voice is although that in university they are teaching and should be aware for active learning, but to my opinion there was no difference, and after the workshop both of them are very interesting for the tools of learning.
Jim has a comment.
Any other question?
Well, I was going to make a final comment. I just want to make a comment on the general discussion. When you go down this road of pre-test and post-test, it is difficult to have an FBR point of view as to what the change ought to be, because it really depends upon what the initial conditions are. And sometimes the initial conditions are such that there is a high level. But what you really look for is the change that occurs, is it statistically significant? And then how significant is it? And so, but it's extremely difficult to FBR have a feeling for what you think it ought to be.
Final comment?
Listener?
Somebody else. Helene?
Actually, my question was the same as Hadidi, but I would like to thank Rehab for giving me this opportunity to attend the workshop in National Research Institute. I just want to make a comment for Tariq's question. No, it's okay. Maybe this assessment was not written very well, but because I attended the workshop and I gave a session about mentor-trainer relationship, I found that yes, they achieve a lot of new information. And regarding the question of Hadidi, because I also was going to ask the same question, if there is a difference between the background or for the participants. So I have given the same lecture before, mentor-trainer relationship in University, Alexandria University, and also in the National Research Center. So what I found, or what I got, that the definition of mentor and supervision is a little bit different from professors in university and researchers. So maybe the researcher institute, I found that they may be more strict, or the relation with the student is not like a relation with the student in the university. I don't know if this because the teaching or the experience of teaching or something like that. So this only there was a little bit different from here to here. Yeah.
Because there is no direct relation between the student and the grad.
Just comment, there is usually confusion because the student at the research center have to register his thesis or his thesis at the university, and they have two supervisors, one at the research center and one at the university, and like 70% are fighting, and it should be, this is more important.
And the staff from the research center always like to teach in the private university. Right?
Right.
Any other comment?
This is just a sort of follow-on to Tariq's question. I mean, the metrics, the way that you're doing the assessment, you're assessing the effect of the workshop. What might be interesting is for you to think of some metrics for longer-term change. So how do you assess the impact of your teaching longer-term? And it's quite difficult to do this. I mean, and we have brainstormed, for 2 days trying to develop some metrics, and we have some of these. But it would be good for you to sort of think, you know, we've done this, the people came, they put their hand on their heart, I'm going to change, I swear I will change, I go down on my knees, I will change. Do they? So think of some of the metrics that you might use to assess that.
Any other questions, comments? Thanks a lot, Dr. Rehab.